Okay, Sleeper Citizen. Let's see if I can make it through another little bit of this. I'm concerned that I'm going to run out of money and cycles in which to earn money. We'll see. It's been a little while since I played this, but that's fine. It's fairly simple to get back into. Oh, I'm starving. That's a good sign. Good way to start the day. Anyway. What is... Disable my tracker. Yeah, that's a good thing to probably work on. As you arrive, Feng comes striding towards you, taking me by surprise. Let's go, Sleeper. Put a hand on your shoulder and turns back the way you came. He steps into the passageway, guiding you down Ring. Towards the shipyard. Sorry for the hurry. We have something of an opportunity. The data you ripped, well done, by the way, he grins. Tells me Hardin is making a rare inspection of the sidereal horizon this cycle. It's the perfect chance to confront him outside of that compound he hides in. Thing takes a sharp turn to a dimly lit side passage. Still catching up? That's the massive colony ship being built out in the shipyard. Biggest commission Havenage has ever had. Feng slows and slips into a dark service tunnel where, somewhere in the back, a water pipe drips. It's him, Sleeper, the same Hardin Hurst. Our worm ripped out decades of records that mention him by name. An entire trail of documentation from the first days of the Solheim collapse until now. He wrote out the whole thing, slipped into Havenage, when it was first broke off from the Union. He paces the tunnel, a hand rubbing at the back of his head. I need you to understand something about Solheim, Sleeper. I don't know what you know about the collapse, but it wasn't instant as it sounds. It wasn't like Solheim was here, running the station one day, and the next, Erland's Union took power. Back then, Solheim knew this place was slipping away from them. As the palladium market collapsed, they had tried to keep the contractors here working. The pay got smaller, the cost got higher. People like my parents were forced to work non-stop just to keep a berth on the station and water in their tanks. Solheim squeezed every last worker until the mistakes, the accidents, were coming in non-stop. And as new waves of contractors came in, desperate to work, Solheim welcomed them, taking bribes instead of checking pilot licenses. The whole time, Solheim was folding up, dragged out into court cases into the central systems, while the severed limb of a station still desperately tried to take all it could. The riots came after the collision at Dock 2. A young pilot, his MEV overloaded with palladium, miscalculated his trajectory and took out a section of the ring. Hundreds died. Thousands panicked. My parents told me people were terrified, and the blame fell squarely on Solheim. People like to tell stories about Erland, how he brought the factions together, spoke to the crowds, turfed out Solheim. Maybe that's true. But my mother, pregnant with me, locked herself in their MEV and welded it to the dock, while my father joined the improvised crews, trying to seal up the ragged edges of the gap. He never came back. Feng pauses in the dark. They sealed it up, though, and by the time they did, Solheim was gone, abandoning everything, or abandoning every one of us to the black, apart. Apart, Feng finally turns back to you, his eyes burning. From shits like Hardin. Shits who held their place, rode it out, and slipped into the new structure like nothing had changed, standing shoulder to shoulder with those they had exploited at every step. Feng starts walking again. That's why I can't just let him strut about the shipyard. This time his past catches up with him. Clearly you don't know much about executives. That kind of power comes with certain benefits. Feng rejoins the main passageway, which is now wide and glass-roofed, though through the ceilings you can see ships in mid-construction. Their flanks lit by the flashes of plasma torches. The entrance to the shipyard is ahead. Let's go. Feng grins. Let's go show this shithead some consequences. He strides it to the shipyard entrance and pushes through the doors. A web of corridors lead through the complex, snatches of the construction bays always appearing through the windows. Ships are suspended like whale corpses, skeletal, imposing. Feng seems to know exactly where he's going, and before long you cross into a huge dry dock, locked to one side of the sidereal horizon. A network of platforms and scaffolding cling to the ship's hull. Filled with workers and equipment, the sound is stretched out by the vast space so that the welding, cutting, and sealing seems to come from everywhere at once. Both you and Feng spot them at the same time, a group walking slowly across the gantry. At the front, two men, one gesturing towards the ship and the other stick-thin, cleanly dressed, with a shock of gray hair. You and Feng say his name in unison, and Feng sets off up the staircase to the gantry, with you falling behind. As you come to the same level, the group is passing closer, the foreman gesturing to the work being done throughout the dock and Hardin nodding along. "Hardenhurst!" Feng shouts across the noise, taking you by surprise. His voice bounces and comes back in a rippling echo. The figures turn. "Yes?" Hardin asks quizzically, raising an eyebrow. He glances between you and Feng, and you see his gaze linger on your body, unsure of why a sleeper might be in this place. "You are a traitor, Hardin. A Solheim executive who tried to hide here among its victims." Feng's voice is steady, strong. "You stand for everything the Eye was rebuilt in the shadows of, against everything Erland stood for, everything Havenage stands for. You have no place on this station." For a moment, stillness descends on the group, as if everyone is held in place by a rattle of construction. Hardin laughs. "Well, good to meet you two." He glances around at those around him. Some are smiling, others are nervous. "You were from the systems branch, are you not?" asks Hardin, inspecting Feng's clothing. Feng turns to the foreman. "You need to call your security. This man is a corporate agent." The foreman glances between Feng and Hardin, his hands drumming at his sides. Hardin leans towards him and says something inaudible. The foreman nods. "It's true." As he begins speaking, Hardin turns his attention to you. "And what would a sleeper know about that? You accuse me of being a corporate agent. What are you, if not exactly that?" He looks around at the group, who are already eyeing you with suspicion. You are a product of S&R. You have no place in Havenage Shipyard. Who knows what signals you're sending back to your makers? A murmur of approval runs through the group. Feng holds up a stick of memory. "You guessed right. I am systems. And I have records that link you directly to Solheim right here." He turns to the foreman again. "So once again, I'm asking that you take this man into custody of the shipyard." Hardin's voice is calm, measured. "If you have such data, why hasn't it been submitted at the members' meeting for proper review?" He shakes his head. "I have nothing to hide, unlike a man who does not announce his name, who enters my shipyard with corporate property in tow, and tries to turn my own men against me." You hear it now, the echoing sound of boots on walkways, coming from all angles at once, and then settling behind you. "Please," says Hardin, "submit the data through the correct channels. Then we can talk. For now, however, you must leave." He gestures behind you to the security detail, their hands on boxy black sidearms at their sides. Feng spits. "Hardin, you shithead. You can't wriggle out of this one." The security officer draws their weapon and levels it. Feng turns and stares him down. You look at Feng. He shakes his head and puts a hand on your shoulder. "Let's go," says Feng, and he pushes through security, heading back down the walkway. Once security has walked you out of the shipyard and nudged you back into the corridor, Feng picks up his pace. You try to keep up as he slips into the shadows of an entrance. Feng is grinning ear to ear. "You know, Sleeper, sometimes people are exactly how you expect them to be." Something pings in his pocket and he takes it out. On the slate, a web of connections starts drawing itself out, stretching to a set of points around the ring. "Got him," mutters Feng. That, Sleeper, is something our worm added to Hardin's personal slate. We are tracking his outgoing messages. Feng's grin looks ghostly in the uplight of his screen. The old ways were best. Spook them good enough and they'll give the game away. He jabs at the slate, and you see the web is being drawn over a map of the ring. Lines bouncing from point to point. All these dots. These are Hardin's buddies. The ones he is messaging right now. And we are going to find them all. Of course! Hardin isn't working alone. We need the full set or nothing. Feng glances around and slips the slate back into his pocket. We better split for now, Sleeper, but this is exactly what we need. Good hunting. With a pat on your shoulder, Feng drifts away, back into the flow of people around the shipyard entrance. You watch him go, unsure whether to be angry or impressed. Okay, so I have an upgrade point. And recycle all of your dice once per cycle. Chance to gain energy after any engage action. I could remove the -1. Actually, I'll do this. Right, I need to eat. I think this is the most cost-effective food. Ankita is crouched in the computing core of the Ambergis, swearing to herself when you enter. She doesn't look up. These shits completely ruin the core's connectors when they cut it. She holds a thick fistful of ragged wires. The ship line they ripped won't even be usable without replacing these. She throws a bundle of wires across the room. Amateurs. There's nothing to repair. We need an entire ship mind. Not exactly the first thing you can expect to dredge up from a scrap freighter, she sighs. Fragments, maybe. Sections of a mine, but a complete ship mine? No way. Ankita climbs out of the cooling well where the ship mine should be. The space suddenly crowded with her on the same level as you, towering over you as she stoops beneath the low, curved ceiling. Come on, nothing to be done here now. She leads you back through the guts of the amber, through, though you could find the way back yourself. The repair process has left you familiar with the cutter's idiosyncratic layout, all diagonal angles and bundled tubes. Ankita seems lost in thought. You focus on the corridors, ducking below conduits and passing through bulkheads. Eventually you arrive in the galley. Though it's hard to tell, most of the benches and prep surfaces are covered in half-stripped components and welded hole patches. Ankita shoves a box of filters to the floor and sits. There's no way around it. She starts out of nowhere. We need a new ship mind. I can salvage one. Like your confidence, Sleeper. Maybe if we check out the ore exchange, or speak to some of the scrap dealers. She rubs her forehead. It seems I'm about to do something very stupid, but hey, I came here, didn't I? Why not make a run for it? Or why not make a run of it? She fixes you with a hard stare. Sleeper, you're all I've got. No crew, no friends, you're it. It looks uncomfortable. I appreciate the time you put on Amber, and I'm sure she would too, if she could. What I'm saying is, if you screw me on this, I will kill you. She leans back. She leans over and hands you a stack of chits. A big stack of chits. You don't dare count them. Get me that ship, Minesweeper. Don't make me regret this. You won't. No. Just get out of here before I change my mind. We slip out of the galley and head back towards the main lock. As you do, Amber growls and creaks like a caged animal. You reach a hand out to calm her. Time to find and keep a ship mine somehow. Give me 100 credits. Which button takes me to the underside of the map? The Girol slides from the bottle into the lumpy recycled glass, pale greasy yellow under the Overlook's warm lights. The spacer nods and takes the drink, bringing it up to their face in both hands like an offering bowl. This is the good stuff. The stuff Tala says is aged in wooden casks, stored in some closed-off part of the old station, among corroded wires and softly looping systems. Though sometimes it is hard to tell if Tala's joking. Either way, you like pouring this stuff. It gets on your fingers, and if you rub them together, you can smell the mossy drink cut through with aniseed, mushrooms, wood, as the alcohol evaporates. You like those who order it too. The aged Girol is kept beneath the bar, open to order only by those who know it's there. Like the quiet spacer sitting at the bar right now. They are far enough away that you can freely watch them as you close the bottle and tuck it beneath the bar. You call them a spacer because they bear the hallmarks: pale, vac-suited, bird-boned, and hunched beneath the weight of the station's spinning gravity. But the closer you look, the less you see in type. Pale eyes, almost gray, but kind, delicate fingers that lightly drum the bar as if it was an instrument. A shock of black hair almost covering a forehead scar. Scars are something you have learned to value. They are what marks out your body from the hundreds, maybe thousands, who knows, of similar models that are rolled out of SNR's biolabs. You find yourself rubbing one on your forearm, though. A rough little split. Something that on the good days you might think of as a mark of defiance. Suddenly you hear a heavy clunking at the door. It creaks open and a huge cylindrical metal tank tumbles through, slamming into the floor. Shit! Tala breezes in from behind it, a world of hair and bright eyes. Shit, shit, shit! Tala. Sleeper! She ducks behind the bar and comes over. Can you help me with this? Look at the huge metal tank suspiciously. Tala puts a hand on her hip. Are you going to help me or what? Come around the bar and get one side of the tank. Okay, she says, on my count. 1, 2, 3. You both heave the tank up to standing, somehow. You hold it in place, struggling to keep it steady. In the back comes a voice from behind the tank. Somehow you manage to lug the huge thing into the back room, where you place it in one corner, dwarfing the rest of the contents of the cramped space. As you do, you hear a crunch. You stand back and look at the expired rations oozing out from under the tank. Oh, shit. Tala looks at you apologetically. I know how you like those. Good riddance. Tala smiles. Oh, good. I thought maybe liking expired rations was some kind of sleeper thing. You push the crushed rations to one side. And that's the end of that. Tala looks exhausted and rubs her shoulders. Francis, I swear to... Francis, I mentioned him already. My guy on the door. Deals with suppliers. Tall. She sighs. He was supposed to be back from, teens up in the Greenway by now. Back with our Girol. She leans against the tank. It seems like he's got lost again. Or joined the Haifa commune. We need that, Girol. There's 4 other bars near here, and the space for sure as hell don't come to the Overlook for the ambience. She looks at the door to check if anyone's in here. She knocks on the hollow tank. So, I'm taking matters into my own hands. She smiles. Welcome, sleeper, to the Overlook Distillery. You look around the dank back room. She picks at some paint flaking from the metal walls. Well, I might need some help, though. She shrugs. You up for it? She knocks out on the tank again. Could be fun. Okay. She grabs you by the shoulders. I'm excited. She turns around and looks at the tank. I reckon we chop this thing in half. One half for fermentation, the other we turn into a still. We'll also need to gather the ingredients. Then Spankin looks at you. You look more like a chopper than a gatherer. She smiles. How about you build the still and tub while I work on the rest? Oh, wait, Sleeper, I have an idea. Tala's grinning now, and it's making you nervous. To make up for the rations, how about we put a kitchen in here, too? Will it fit? We'll make it work. She turns back to the tank. This is going to be great, she says to herself. You look at the dented tank and the bare room. At least she has a vision. Tala nudges you out of the back room and closes the door. As you go back to the bar, you hear the banging and thumping again. The spacer finishes up their drink and nods in your direction as they leave. You can't quite tell if it's a gesture of sympathy or good luck. So much for a quiet shift. Okay, well, that's cool. If I do another one, the hunter comes. So I should not. I'll wait on the food. Eh, I'll just try working a shift. Actually, no. I'll do this. I'm glad that I ate because I forgot that it was 2 energy. Decent dice, though. What do we got here? Cynical bounty hunter, huh? My compressor is quiet today. The usual crowds are elsewhere, and the pumping music washes over a handful of spacers and a few drums. Ethan's still in the same stool, in the same pool of light. His head is hello, close to the bar, and the bartender's ignoring him. As you get closer, he lifts his head and turns. Sleeper! He turns to look at you. Time to pay up again, is it? He gestures to the bartender. Take their chits. Ethan doesn't even look at you. He props his elbows on the bar and holds his head. Sleeper, it's been a long cycle. I don't care. Ethan lets out his long sigh, rapidly rubs his eyes with his palms. You're right, he says, quietly. This isn't fun anymore. He reaches towards his holster. His elbow slips and the gun tumbles out. It clatters to the bar and falls to the floor, bouncing onto the ground in between you. Both you and the bartender look at the gun and stare at it. Butterfingers, says Ethan, and puts out a hand, beckoning for you to give him the gun back, if you would. The bartender looks at you warily. You crouch down and pick up the gun. Point the gun at Ethan. Ethan turns his head in your direction a little, a sharp, pale eye locking with yours. The bartender backs away. Oh. He turns on the stool. Oh, sleeper. He stands. This is more like it. You hold the gun steadily, training it on his head. Ethan smiles, like the dog that caught the car. He turns to the bartender and mock whispers, I'm not sure they know what to do with it. Pull the trigger. You don't wait. You pull the trigger. The gun clicks. By now, all the attention on the bar and the bar is on you and Ethan. He looks at his gun with a bemused expression. The bartender raises an open hand, and in it are 10 shiny bullets. 10 shiny bullets he took out of Ethan's gun while he was asleep on the bar. Ethan smiles at the bartender. Oh well, he says and grabs the gun, slamming it back into your face with a single move. Damn it. You stagger back and drop to a knee. Somewhere nearby, the gun clatters onto the surface. The hit's a glancing blow, but it makes your vision swim. Through the blur, you see Ethan wrestle a small, thin slate from his belt and hold it up. Enough of this. I'm logging the job and calling it in. Ethan taps at the slate. No more playing. Your head aches. Ethan taps it through a few screens impatiently. He swears and taps again, starts shouting. A dull echo to your ringing ears. He starts screaming at the slate and throws it across the bar. He crouches down and grabs her by the chin, his face close, his breath heavy with drink. S&R just screwed me, he grins maniacally. They canceled the contract. He stands up. They canceled the contract, he shouts at the ceiling of the compressor. You stand up, struggling to your feet, the sting of the hit fading. Ethan is rubbing his temples, his face pale. You hear a clicking sound, like coins being counted, like bullets being loaded into a magazine. When you shake off the last of the blur, the bartender has Ethan's pistol trained on Ethan's head. Ethan stumbles back towards the middle of the room, all eyes trained on him. I'll kill all of you, he screams. He stumbles into the wall, spinning away towards the door. I'll be back for that, he shouts at the bartender and lunges out of the compressor. You steady yourself on the bar and catch your breath. The rumble of the conversation returns. The bartender goes to say something, but he thinks better of it and begins to clean the bar. After a while, you wander out into the light of the bright market, looking for Ethan around every corner. So he's just gone? Ethan may be disarmed, but you doubt you've seen the last of him. Well, I mean, that's a good sign. To a degree, I don't have to spend money on him anymore. Okay, I need to venture out. I need to see what this is. I'm hoping it's just like a one-time pay. Unlock apartment. You find the entrance to the apartment. Its passkey symbol obscured beneath layers of graffiti. Who lives here? Wait, I had the apartment key? Lock clunks open. The metal door swings open into the dark. As you push the door open, the automatic lights flicker on inside the apartment. They reveal yellowing plastic panels. The curved shape of the wall-mounted utility units, the detritus of a routine life arranged on every surface. You step inside, clicking the door shut behind. The amber light of the aging fixtures glaze everything with orange. The work surfaces hold a variety of objects. Indistinct in the dull lighting, a pale blue light drifts from a doorway at the end of the room. Smudges through the thin layer of dust suggest a recent, rare, and hurried visit. They trace a path to the water dispenser, the auto wash, then to a cabinet still half open. On the shelf sits an empty pill case. You cross the cramped utility room with its auto wash, dispensers, and water closet towards the doorway. Through the doorway is a dark, warm room, lit only by the faint glow of the terminal screen. A bunk is tucked into the wall, the blankets ruffled. A wall desk glitters with rows of vials and containers. A briefcase lab sits open, loaded with rows of reagents and compounds you do not recognize. In comparison, this room is clean, ordered, controlled. As you approach, there is a crackle from somewhere in the dark. Sleeper. Sabine's voice shakily echoes through the apartment. Welcome to my home. I'm sorry I can't be here. I have had to make alternate arrangements. You hear rattling noises, static. I was able to record this message, but I don't dare show my face. Something is happening within Yatagan. I no longer trust them. Their voice becomes distant, slipping behind the background noise. The doctor lady. I have something to ask of you. I want you to get me out. Yatagan were supposed to hide me, to protect me after everything happened. I was desperate. And then after that, I was too tired to care. A noise like waves passes over the recording. But I'm done with them now. I want out. Screw the dead. But I need insurance. Something I can hold against them. I have my suspicions, but I can't be sure. I need information, and, as you know, you need me. A pause, something clicking in the dark. This isn't a threat. You have to understand my position here. Another pause. I know sleepers. I have been here before. I can help you, but not with Yatagan's noose around my neck. Get me data. Get me information. Get me something that I can use against Yatagan. Then I can get out, and you can get what you need. Please. Waves of static cut into Sabine's voice. Bring it here to my terminal. I'll get to it when I can. You look around the tiny room, try to imagine Sabine living here, working at the desk, sleeping in the bunk, blinking into the terminal in the dark. The recording cuts to static, filling the room with a white hiss and silence. You sit in front of the humming terminal and hit a few keys. Sabine has left an access port open, but the rest is encrypted, locked away behind passcodes. It seems Sabine might not trust you as much as they want you to think. Who does Sabine need to hide from? And what debt do they owe to Yatagan? You're trying to assemble the pieces, but too many are missing. The only thing you know is that without stabilizers, your body will die. You glance at the briefcase on the lab on the desk. Its glassware is glinting in the dark. Turn away and leave, the door clunking shut behind you. Back into the corridor, you notice the scrawled graffiti of a blade on the opposite wall. Yatagan. You feel yourself being drawn into something you don't quite understand. Alright, so Sabine's apartment. I'm assuming that I have access to, yeah, more. Alright, so we have block maintenance. Maintained by the residents, ramshackle blocks are always in need of repairs. Helping out is a good way to make friends. Low-ender. No one knows you here. You'll need to change that if you want access to the low-end's residents and facilities. The clacking of filter caps can be heard in every concourse in Low End as the residents play rotating rounds of this game for cryo. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that one. Alright, so enter the spoke. A tangled network of passages, makeshift tunnels cuts through the spoke. As a hive, there are no maps here, so spoke climber minus condition. Scale of the spoke climber minus energy. To reach the Greenway, you need to pay for passage. Practice invented by spacers born here. They call it Founder's Ferry. Okay, so that's nothing that I can do right now. Let's do this, because this is going to open up stuff for me. Hell yes, plus energy. Let's see. Oh, this is just a good way to get energy. Energy for dice. He makes noodles from seaweed. He doesn't pay much, but he'll feed anyone who does a shift. Delivering noodles to the nameless units of Lowen takes guts. And a certain fearlessness when it comes to asking for tips. Alright, so if I do this, this is at least one energy, right? And I got the good one. Hell yes, and I even got money out of it. Even better. Okay. Talva Room and Temwar houses some of the best players in low end. This is serious, high stakes play only. Okay. You've heard that the Yanagan Enforcer based here has been playing low end residents, paying low end residents for information on Havenish movements. I think I have one of these, right? Yeah. That worked out well. What's this? This half-built unit looks long forgotten. A project that never made it. With enough scrap, you might be able to seal it up. Oh, if I can get scrap. The big stuff goes to the shipyard, the valuable stuff to the markets. They'll let you buy a few crates, but not much more. I got a ship mine fragment. Still didn't get any scrap though. Damn it. Okay, I got scrap then. Might as well. Oh, that's right, but I need 4 scrap. That's right. And that requires 3 fragments. Okay. Yeah, it looks like basically everything else is requiring the die. Alright. Okay, I now have 3 ship mine pieces. Minecraft. You dropped a huge cylinder onto the mess room table. Akita can't hide her excitement. You dropped the ship mine core into the galley table with an emphatic bang. Akita spins around from where she's been poring over some documents on her slate. Holy shit, Sleeper, did you actually land a ship mine? She rushes over and hefts the huge cylinder, turning it back and forth. Well, shit. It might actually work. She smiles wider than you've ever seen. Where did you get it? I built it. Built it? Well, you are full of surprises. Akita bangs on the galley wall. Hear that, Amber? The Sleeper got you a new ship mine. The sound echoes down the ship's passages. You have to admit, being in a small space with Ankita when she's this excited is a little intimidating. Ankita puts the ship mine back on the table. I'll start the process of fitting it as soon as I can. I might need your help with some of it. She heads back towards the counter to grab her slate. This isn't the only good news today either. Looks like my good karma's finally coming in. She throws the slate onto the table and spins it so you can see the screen. Take a look at this. You see a list of names and numbers. Nothing that exciting, along with what looks like a transit timetable. I found them. And who? My crew! She points at a name on the list. Or, more specifically, Ashton Cade. Kaede. It was his pass that was used to access Amber and slice the ship mine. I thought he might have been killed or robbed, his pass stolen. But it turns out he crossed the Founder's Gap in the very next cycle. I know some of the crew over at the ferry. Old mercs. Used to run in an outfit I worked with. I saw them in the Overlook and they mentioned they saw Ashton crossing. I checked the manifest and there he was. Looks suspicious. And he hasn't said a word since he left, since the theft. And anyone wanting to hide out might head to the Greenway and go to ground. She flexes. He won't get far though. There's no real docks out there, only a couple of jetties in the wastes. Not yet. First I want to fit the ship mine. She pauses. But maybe you can help me out. Sure. How? It's like this. I need to head over there, especially in Amber. He'll spot me a mile off and go to ground. He'll find a way to slip the station, or he'll bury himself so deep in the waste, no one will be able to find him. But you, Ashton, doesn't know you. All I need is for you to go there and sniff around. Not at the commune, not at the stacks. He will have gone to the edges, the margins, the wild places. And that's what Ashton likes, you see. You see him, you locate him, ping me on this. She hands you a comm earpiece. Seeing as this is merc work, I'll be happy to give you merc pay. She shifts in her seat. Thing is, I haven't got much left. So how about I tell the boys who run the ferry to give you a discount? You know, it's not much, but once I grab the coward, I'll pay up. 200 cryo, nothing less. Okay. Gives you a heavy whack on the shoulder. Good, I owe you. She lifts her ship mine up onto her shoulder with worrying ease. I'm gonna get this fit into Amber's core. You get any info? Any sense of where Ashen's hiding? Let me know. She goes to turn around and stops. And once again, Sleeper, thank you. I appreciate it. Ankita stomps off into the guts of the Amber with a ship mine, leaving you in the galley. You glance around, sudden nervous energy descending at what is to come. You never thought you'd get work as a mercenary, but then again, it seems the eye is full of surprises. Cool. I'm glad I was able to help her. Okay, I need a way to earn money. Okay, good. That's good. Cross between two walls of units, one with the cavernous streets at the center of the low end. The pressurized bridge is full of the clack of Tavla, shouts of children, the whir of air filters. Sleeper! You turn to see a man sitting at a Tavla table alone. Somehow, untouched by the hustle and the bustle of the people around. He gestures to the stool on the opposite side of the table. Sit. You sit at the metal stool, and he starts setting out the board with counters, or at least the filter caps low-enders typically use in their place. Castor, he says by way of introduction, looking over his glasses. Night or day, he asks, gesturing to the caps, crudely sprayed white and black. Night. He nods. The black counters are already on your side. Let's begin. You take a plastic die, each pitted and worn, and roll to determine who starts. The caster rolls a 6, you a 4. I lead, he smiles and begins to move his cap precisely along the board. Play passes back and forth between you, the dice changing hands as the caps spread along the board. As it does, caster speaks, eyes not leaving the caps. It is unusual to see a sleeper on the eye. That's why I wanted to play you. You take a turn, rolling a 5 and a 6. Think carefully. After all, a sleeper's mind must be somehow different to a human one. Being emulated, I mean. As Caster talks, you build up a wall of caps, stacking them safely across the board. Progress is slow, but you remain unexposed. I don't mean to offend you, Caster meets your eye. I merely see that you are, by definition, different. What has been subtracted in the emulation? What has been added? He slides a single cap onto an open point. A risk and an opportunity. He hands you the dice. Do you ever think about this, Sleeper? About what you were before and what you are now? Always. You roll a double 1 and solidify your wall. Caster whistles. The holding game, commendable. It can be brave to build from what became before. He rolls the dice and leaves your wall in a single move. But we cannot idle too long, Sleeper. The slower we move, the sooner we are caught. The past you is not just an idea, a concept for you. It is a living, breathing person. He looks up over his glasses, his eyes bright and wide. You split from them like a shadow splitting from its caster. They may be sleeping now, yes, but one day they will wake and carry on with their lives unaware of your fate, no matter what it may be. He hands you the dice, smiling. You are a branch severed from the main trunk, an offshoot who refuses to die, so to speak. You roll again, under pressure now, trying to slip your caps out from under Castor's before he solidifies control of the game. So what I am curious about is how you see yourself in all this, Castor asks. What does this tangle of truths make you? Driven. Castor laughs. That much is obvious, Sleeper. I see it in your eyes. You are eager to make all this count for something. Castor looks away through the glass to the crowded units on all sides. But driven towards what? He starts removing caps. His home board now full. Is there an end? Or just endurance? You try a few more rolls, attempting to get back in the game, but Castor clears his home board with a sense of the inevitable. He has known he was winning for a while. I feel I may have pushed too far. He slides another cap from the board. We play... Oh, it's backgammon. I apologize, but curiosity has a habit of getting the better of me. You roll to return a cap to the board, but all the spaces are blocked. Castor clasps his hands apologetically. You play well, really. Your weakness is not your game. He smiles warmly. We have much to learn from each other. He slides his glasses back up his nose and sits back. I feel we could share knowledge, ideas, perhaps even data. His eyes glint with that last word. To our mutual benefit. He slides his final cap from the board. It is over. He has won. I'll see. Please, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. He holds up his palms. My intention is only to help you enter here, and if I'm able, feed my curiosities. The game over, you notice the bustle of the walkway once more. The call of the children, the deliveries, the arguments, and reconciliations, they wash over you as you stand and leave. Castor nodding goodbye as you do. Crossing the walkway, you replay the moves of the game in your mind, looking for an opening you were sure was there. So, let's see here. I need 5 of those. What are the old guards up to these days? I have ship mine for you, if you'll indulge my curiosity. A file of stabilizer should provide the motivation. Oh, okay. They dropped it by 50 credits, which is good. Okay, so I need to make money. Well, that's right. I have a chance to earn energy when I do those ones. Got it. I might have to just deal with a hunter. Those familiar threads wrap around you, bind you, test you. Entity, submit. Hunter's strange head bobs in your vision. Your ally in the sealed dock cannot save you. In that globed head you see whirling strings of data. So many spinning there that they threaten to tear the thin skin and whip out into the void around. What happened to this creature? The threads squeeze you and lose any sympathy you might have had. You must escape. Strike. You lash out once more, pushing Hunter back, severing threads that regrow as fast as they are broken. As you slip away, you realize you have to find a way to deal with Hunter once and for all. It's getting too dangerous. Ugh, I don't like that. But that's not bad. Not much more I can do. Oh, should I mean 3 dice today? Because I'm gonna lose. Yeah, 3. Not bad dice to have, though. Okay, I have secured my next thing. I'm gonna have to deal with these 3 dice days a little bit so I can earn money. It's been more than a few cycles since Feng confronted Hardin, and the silence since has been noticeable. In your time with Feng, You haven't exactly found him to be reliable, but you did expect to hear the end of whatever plan he had put into action. But if he won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havenage building, then it's time to come to him. After all, he did promise to fix your tracker. You were getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open, a light pouring out of the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed of their mystery by the bright flood lamps. A figure in Havenage security fatigues steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. Walk away. This already looks like trouble. You lower your head and shift your direction as smoothly as you're able. You again. Hardin is there, leaning beside the bay entrance, so calmly that you barely noticed him. He has a slate in his hand, an inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable. Further evidence of Feng's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Hardin pushes away from the wall and comes closer. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around at the stacks of hardware, spying on fellow Havenage members, hoarding Solheim materials, and obsession with corporate data. It speaks for itself, doesn't it? Does nothing. We will see what the council has to say about that. He looks up at the glass roof above, and the stars beyond. We are the ones that provide the oxygen you are breathing, the light you are seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. This place was hard fought for, Sleeper. It took work, diplomacy, and strength to stop the Eye descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. Not blind conviction or self-interest. You're the self-interested one. More accusations. What have you achieved, Sleeper? Your entire existence is proof of your self-interest, signing yourself over to be emulated rather than work yourself, whether you remember it or not. You suffer from the same short-sighted perspective as the person you were copied from. You see, Sleeper, we are proud of our history here. Andre Erlin was the first union founded this place, and Havenage has wielded his values into the station's very wall. Welded his values into the very station's walls. We will never turn away the hardworking, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havenage aren't a gang like Yatagan. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you'll meet in the hub, or esoterics like the Haifa radicals in the Greenway. We are the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named Erlin's Eye Sleeper. This is our station. It meets your eye. So please, take your false accusations elsewhere, before I decide I need that confession after all. History will catch up with you. I'm not afraid of history, Sleeper. We are making it here. Cycle by cycle, he smiles. If you have any pride, you'll give up Feng the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Hardin turns his back and walks back towards the security officers, ordering them to continue the clear-out. As they do, something catches your eye. Among one of the service stacks, a crumpled handprint box of synthetic chewing gum. A penguin character grinning from the brightly colored card, and scrawled onto it, a speech bubble reading, "Take me to Tamor." You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching, then turn away, just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done, Feng? And where the hell is Tamor? Oh, fucking hell yes. I have 2 upgrade points? Agent nodes give double data rewards. That's kind of good. No, I'm gonna do this. A lot of text, but I really like this game. Now I wish I'd taken that thing that allows me to re-roll my dice. And then what do I spend the 6 on? I don't need this. Feel stupid doing this, but Penguin says take me Tambor. And this is the only Tambor that you can find. As you're going to leave the Tambor tea house, a hand falls on your shoulder. Sleeper, Feng hisses from behind you. How did you find me? The penguin. Penguin? What are you? He thinks for a second. Oh, you mean... He mimes throwing gum into his mouth. That wasn't meant for you specifically, but he cringes. Look, it doesn't matter. Come, let's sit. Feng guides you down a set of stairs to one of Tambor's lower levels. The tea house is stacked with curved mezzanines, all connected by a central atrium. The levels are filled with makeshift booths and bars, and conversation bounces busily off the metal walls. Feng sees you look around. This place used to be a fuel tanker's main drum. Hence the name, the tea house. Part is a bit of a misnomer, though. You can get anything the eye offers from this place, but real tea isn't exactly readily available. He picks a booth. It's still fashioned from some old salvage tanker container, lined with spongy insulation foam, and collapses into it. He looks around furtively. Don't suppose you've seen any Havenage types. They don't usually come out this far. Only you. I'm not afraid. I'm not... not anymore, I'm afraid. Suspended without appeal. Turns out Harden has someone's ear. He grins. Doesn't bother me, though. It shows we hit a nerve back there. He picks a scrappy hand-scrawled menu from the table and tosses it over. What are you drinking? Meg is right. This menu is ridiculous. There's at least 10 infusions, most of which you can't make out. But the paper is dominated by an extensive complement of esoteric alcohols and cocktails. Black tea is listed, without a price, as a seasonal specialty. So you ran into Harden. Was he pissed? Feng doesn't wait for an answer. That snake is so self-righteous, you might actually believe that Erlin would approve of his meritocratic bullshit. He taps on the table. If Havenage was like it should be, like it was founded to be, they would have shouted him down at any council meeting. He dared to mention true citizens, he sighs. But I guess his kind run the place now. A young woman with a vine tattoo snaking up her arm turns up at the booth. A slate in hand. Your order? You skim the menu, your eyes glazing over. Time to pick something. Kelp infusion. She nods and notes it, and you. She begins to looking at Feng, but When she sees him, suddenly stops. What the? Feng shrinks a little. You were supposed to be working. This is your shift. He grins sheepishly. Feng waves you to be quiet. Look, Jenna, just say this might break. My friend here has been through a lot. Jenna looks between the two of you. Wave. Feng doesn't look pleased. 2 minutes, says Jenna, pointing at Feng, and only because I don't want you to get dragged into whatever this is. He gestures at the table and walks off. What? Feng stretches out in the booth. You know how it is. We all have to eat. Plus, he leans in. This is the best place around here to find a person you might be looking for. Who? Remember the web of connections that Hardin pinged the moment we confronted him? Those are his collaborators, and if we want to understand what a Solheim executive might be getting up to on the Eye, those are the people you have to find. Feng is almost whispering now. There's a couple of them I suspect in the low end as well. And well, almost everyone in the low end comes through this place at one time or another. He brings a modified slate out onto the table. I've set this up so that when anyone with a network signature I'm looking for comes into this close proximity, it'll mark them. Once they're marked, we can break through their access protocols and get at the good stuff inside. We just have to find them first, hence me moonlighting as a waiter. Suddenly, a smile grows across his face. Wait, I have an idea. Oh no. Look, I can't cover enough of the low end on my own. And so far I have had no matches in this place. With the two of us, we can cover more ground. Well, Feng has a hang-on look. We need to get you out and about in the low end, in close proximity to as many people in the residences as possible. And it turns out my friend, Min Gi, needs some help with deliveries. So you already know him. Perfect. Feng places a tiny receiver on the table. This connects to my slate, and runs the same marking protocol if you get near any of your targets. So all you have to do is take some delivery shifts for old Min Gi. And soon enough, we'll have the place covered. Don't give me that. You think I like working here? And I thought you could use the tips. We're in this together, right? Right. Okay then. Feng slips a slate back under his clothes. Just head on up to Min Gi Express, take a delivery shift, and we'll see what shakes up. Manage to find anyone and extract data, bring it right down here to me. They have me on double shifts, so I shouldn't be hard to find. Jenna walks past carrying a tray of drinks and sharply catches Feng's eyes. I don't think she's bringing your drink. He stands. I think it's time we call this meeting to a close. Grab the receiver from the table and slip it into your pocket. See you soon, sleeper. Stay safe. Feng adds before turning and walking off towards the bar, listening as he does. Okay. I got one dice. Need to make money. This isn't a bad way to do this. I can afford to do this till the 2 dice, I think. Good dice. I also appreciate the fact that I can earn energy from doing this. for 2 dice days. Alright. I'm pretty happy with that. Sleeper. You see Fang coming up the corridor and step out of Min Keys. The kelp noodle smells still clinging to your clothes. He comes up fast and stops close, looking around suspiciously. I don't have long. Take these. Fang palms you a couple of those metal thumbnail-sized drives. Whipperworms. My slate has been buzzing like crazy. It seems your delivery shifts have turned up our 2 targets. He squeezed your shoulder. I knew you could do it. Now we nailed those snakes. I'm ready. Good to hear it. Hardin's boys are all connected by some kind of closed network. You break the access protocols on both of them, you should be able to gain the location of the nearest network ports. Stop the whipperworms in those ports, one each, and they'll feed me anything and everything stored on Hardin's shadow network. He smiles. Can't wait to see what juicy plans they have in there. You hear a scuff of boots as a group comes up the corridor, likely on the way to place an order with Mingi. You turn for a second, and when you look back, Fang is already halfway down the corridor in the opposite direction. He raises the hand and farewell and is gone. You run your fingers over the tiny whipperworm drives in your pocket. And smile to yourself as you wonder how mad Jenna will be at Fang for this little excursion. Time to slot some worms. Yeah, 6 or 4. Alright, so I got a 2. First off. Wait, wasn't there another way for me to obtain potential stabilizer? If I get 5 of the Havenish protocols. Okay, understood. Okay. That was weird. Cool. Don't see any other pressing things for today, so it looks like we're all set. Terrible dice for the day, but what else am I gonna fucking do? I really only want to come down here if I'm doing those hardened agents at this point in time. Okay. Oh, shit. You miss me? Ethan smiles a ragged smile at you. Nope. You look at him, he is paler than usual, hunched. He's sporting a black eye and more than a few cycles of beard growth. That's no way to greet an old friend. Get lost. Ethan's face drops, along with all pretense of friendliness. I think you'll want to hear this, sleeper. I think, he says, rapidly shaking his head. You'll really want to hear this. Hear what? This is big, really big stuff about you. He seems more jittery than usual, on edge. Remember now how S&ARP canceled the contract on you? The contract I was going to collect? I remember. I'm guessing you were pretty happy about that shit. Overjoyed? Me? I lost everything. Let's not worry about that. He smiled sarcastically. And so, what did you think? That was it? Well, it was, except Ethan leaves a drowning pause. What if old S&ARP gave the bounty to someone else? Someone who was even more of a shithead than yours truly. He smiles darkly. What a disaster that would be. Who? That's the question, isn't it? Ethan fishes around in his pocket for a slip of paper. I've been speaking to some friends, you see, some colleagues, about what went down. And it turns out S&ARP canceled all their bounty contracts, the whole lot. It seems they've brought someone in-house. Some guy who did so well in their last contract that they got offered the job, Lane said. Apparently he made a hit on this ship called the Winter Wonderland or something. It was smuggling sleepers out from under S&ARP's big corporate nose. He killed the crew, blew the ship, Ethan whistles. They called him Hemwick or Maywick or something. He gave us up looking for the paper. I forget. You mean Winterlight? That's it. He looks at you hard. So you know about all this. He pats you on the shoulder. Then you'll be very happy to hear what I'm about to offer you. Ethan runs his hands through his greasy hair. Given this new information I've brought to light, it seems you are in need of protection. I, meanwhile, am in need of assistance in kind. It turns out I upset some people at the compressor last time we were there. The owners. And they say they'll space me unless I work off the debt. Seems they are that kind of businessman, he grimaces. I would pay them, but he struggles and turns his jacket pockets inside out in a mime of poverty. He looks pitiful, even more than so for his clownish acting. Then work it off. You should be glad, the anger rising in him now, that I came down here and told you this. You think anyone is looking out for you? You are a contract, name on a list. He kicks the ball. Ethan rubs his temple. I'm sorry, he hisses. I'm sorry for being a shit and trying to kill you, and whacking that thick skull of yours, he sighs. You think I want to go up against this guy? But us... He jabs a finger between the two of you. We don't have a choice. So you keep me from getting killed, and I'll do the same for you. We can help each other. Straight 50-50 deal. He looks at you. I'm not asking for a favor. Fine. Ethan smiles. He looks like shit warmed up. They like the word shit in this so far today. He pauses. Just think about Maywick. Think about that cold-eyed S&ARP shit on his way here from the core systems. He smiles. That should give you the motivation you need. Ethan swaggers off down the corridor, throwing his jacket over his shoulder. Can't wait to be working with you, Shans. in the compressor. They're both danger, which is not good. The engage is at least okay. Alrighty. I think that's good for me on this one. This game is really good. I like it. It's got a cool vibe to it. Alright, what time we got? 7? It's maybe 6 hours. Let's say what I want to do. Okay, well, I'll figure that out. I'm going to take a break. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.